And then they took my parents into the room and they were like, listen, I got a secret about your kid. And if I tell you this secret, you got two options. I tell you the secret and you go home with your kid, or I keep the secret and your kid can stay here. So my parents were like, what the hell? Like, keep
Yeah.
my kid, let him finish school. What is the secret? Years later, because I was real cool with one of the staff members, he called me. He's like, hey man, I'm going to Chicago to pick up a kid. He's like, you around? I'm like, yeah, bro, come around, bro. I wanna see you, man. I haven't seen you. He comes around. First thing I asked him, bro, did he ever tell you what the fucking secret was?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is January 8th, 2021, and I'm speaking with Se-vee-ya. He went
Yep.
to the Agape Boys Ranch 2006 to 2008, roughly about 18 months, he said.
Mhm.
And he's going to tell us his story, and he has a few other things he wants to let us know. So, Se-vee-ya, the floor is
So
yours, my
you
friend. You go right ahead.
so pretty much how it all turned out was because I was doing a little bit bad in school, and just doing what teenagers do, cutting class and
Yeah,
just doing what they do.
a typical
And
teenager.
exactly.
Yeah,
So in Chicago, a lot of the times when that happens, like schools recommend kids to get sent to this program called Lincoln's Challenge, which is literally on the border between Chicago and Indiana. I'm from Chicago, so like usually everybody that is like either about to fail or like are not doing good in school, they get sent right there and they get a GED, and then they either pick to go like to the Air Force, Marines, whatever,
right.
and then that's how they get better. Well, whatever. So I had a friend that I knew before Agape because he got sent there and his name was Vasquez. And well, you know, he was God touch, miracles happened. He changed, and he went from being a gangbanger to being like this, miracle child. So like my parents were like wild about it, and they're like, let's try it, right? But at first I told my parents, I'm like, listen, let's just try Lincoln's challenge, like because I was, I already like I ran away from the house for like a week, and my mom is like, she's not very Christian, she's not very religious, but like for like Latin parents, like if you run away from home, it's like a big thing,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're young. Like, nah, my son, I gotta help him out, no matter what. So like, because I was just doing bad, like they knew I was slick, So like, they kind of tricked me into going to Agape. So they're like, let's check out Lincoln's Challenge, and then let's check out Agape. And then whichever program you like the best, that's where you're gonna be at. All right. So
Oh,
wherever you feel
man.
more comfortable, that's
Yeah.
where you're gonna be at. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. Let's take this trip. So we ended up going to Indiana. Then we ended up going to Agape. So when I got to Agape, obviously you see the magical horses and the sign Agape Ranch. So I'm like, all right, whatever, like right before I got there, there's absolutely nothing. So, as you get there, everybody knows when you start getting to Agape, a lot of things run through your mind. Like, where are we? Like, how do I get out of here if I have to go? And back then, there was no smartphones like that. I had my flip phone, whatever, you better call me after 7 type, no,
Yeah.
no 3 minutes. So, like, I was like, all right, whatever, let's check it out. So I get to the program, and the first person that meets me and greets us is Clemson. Obviously everybody knows the big, the dean or whatever he was at the time, Brian, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so great salesman, he starts walking around us from the school and like, like this is a place for everybody. And, like, so my parents were like, okay, you like this? Look, they got a basketball court, they got a pool. Oh my God, you're going to have so much fun right here. Yeah, you're going to get close to God. So I'm just looking, at the time I had long hair and I had braids. And for them, long hair is a big no-no, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'm as we walking towards the school, their desks are like closed in, they got like two pieces of wood on each side, so they can't even look to the side. So I'm just looking, and everything's just becoming like, red flag, like why is there all gates, why is this doors like magnet lock, so I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever, I'm just like keep going through the tour, whatever. uh so we get to the final part where my parents are like, so what do you think? I'm like, do you like the place? Do you think this is going to be the fit for you? So I'm just like, there was a point where I was just like, I was telling my parents, I'm like, listen, like, I know you guys want me to do right,
Right.
and whatever it is, but I do have cousins that, they just went on with their lives and they're fine.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, no, you have to stay here. So I was like, look, man, I really don't want to stay here. So they were like, okay, let's go talk prices with brother Brian about how much it's gonna be and whatnot for the program. So I was in another room, and I was just like, okay, it was kind of weird because the floor was padded, like I don't even know why am I on this room, like there's only one chair, like why am I waiting here? So literally like 10, 15 minutes later, they just walk back in, and brother Brian, he gives me this what you call it, to cut the hair,
Oh, clippers.
the clippers. He throws me a pair of clippers, and he's like, all right, buddy, cut your hair. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not gonna cut my hair. I had long hair. I'm like, I'm not gonna cut my hair. I'm like, you crazy. He's like, yeah, your parents say you're staying, so cut your hair up. So I was just like, what? No, I'm not doing this. So I threw that thing right back. So as soon as I threw it back, staff members came in. I just seen my mom and my dad like on the corner of the door. Like they just left, like, bye, we'll see you soon.
Oh
I was
man.
like, you motherfuckers, I can't believe y'all did this to me. They tricked me.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
And they
Suddenly, I
and
get flipped.
they waited till your parents just left
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
go at yeah.
Once my parents left, they closed that door. Jackie Chan flipped me, legs in the air. I hit the padded floor. And, you get these big old guys just jumping on you, hitting your pressure points. And I was just like,
Yeah.
When I was on the floor, they started cutting my hair. It was brother Brian. I remember him. He just cut my hair like, yeah, you little punk. Yeah. He just cutting all of my hair. I was just like, uh, I wasn't the toughest guy before I got to Agape, but I was not a punk.
Right.
And I knew that, you know, whether it was because I was arrested before I got to Agape, but it was like when I got to like little places, like the little juvenile little
Right.
spots, like kids are not like big jail. That's not how they are. They're just kids. They're just young teenagers. So I knew that the moment after whatever happens, I had to prove myself, right? But at the moment when I was in the paddle room and I'm getting beat up by this guy, I'm just telling this guy, I'm like, look, whatever, bro, you do whatever you gotta do. I don't give a fuck, like. So he's just punching me, and punching me, and I'm just taking it, right. And he grabs my ear and he yanks me, like when I'm on the
Oh.
floor, he yanks my ear and he rips this little part of my ear, right. So I start gushing blood out. That's when he was like, oh, like, get him up. And they
That's
took me to the,
that's
yeah,
that's
it was pretty
assault.
bad. Yeah, it
That's
was pretty
assault.
bad.
Yeah.
So they took me to the nursery, what they like to call a nursery, which is one of the staff members. And, he didn't even know nothing about it just because
Yeah.
he had an EMT shirt. He didn't make him no EMT guy. He didn't know half the stuff that was happening. So he's like trying to poo, like, alcohol. He's like, oh my God, it's kind of bad. Let's put this little, like, I guess it was like some kind of glue thingy that kind of like, I don't know what it was. It
Yeah.
was. Then they threw me on a yellow, on a orange shirt, which is like orientation. And he's like, all right, get him out of there. Like, we're done restraining this guy. Get him out of here. Like.
Yeah.
So they put me out. I guess it was like by the time this is happening, because after my parents left, let's say it was like, I don't know, like 12, 1 o'clock. So like they had these kids like picking like rocks and stuff like that. So they're like, put them over there already. So I'm all sored up, all blooded up on the side of my ear. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. The kid, all I know is that they assigned me this one big black kid that they had, because like the other ones were like scrawny little guys, and they're like, you take care of him, you tell him what to do. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna listen to him. Obviously, I wanted to see what's around first before I start going crazy. So because I wasn't a punk, like it was right away where like I became cool with everybody there, like, and the guy told me, he's like, listen, like, I remember his name was Marshall. He was like my first buddy. He was like, listen, bro, just play it cool. Listen to what you got to do. It's your first day. Obviously, you're pretty lost. So just kind of follow, just follow what we do
Right.
and don't worry about it. I'm going to make sure you're straight. So I was just like, all right, whatever. So we're doing some laps around the baseball court, and I remember I was just so exhausted and so beat up. And this one guy named Graves, he's like, "All right, if you guys don't finish this laps, we're gonna keep it started all over, and you guys are eating all on the wall." So I'm seeing this one kid, like, he's going like super slow, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm about to eat on the wall. I'm real hungry." I'm like, "It's not happening." So then again, I proved myself not to be a punk. I rush up to the kid and I punched him, right? Because I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm making
Yeah.
sure that my ground stays straight because I don't know what they're gonna say once we go inside. I don't know what the other kids are gonna say. So I'm just gonna hold my own ground. So I punch him, staff acted like nothing happened. Whatever. So we go back inside, and that's when I was kind of getting cool with all the orange kids, like, all right, yeah, you cool, you're tight, bro. So they all this information is being told to Brian. So Brian is already didn't like me from the beginning. Now he finds out I punched somebody. He hates me now. And he
Oh,
knows that all the like buddies they're supposed to like treat me wrong are cool with me. So he don't know what to do. There's really nothing else that he could do. So he puts me on with this one guy named Bernal, and he was like a Mexican gangbanger, like whatever. Like he was like a real, like, well, I guess in Chicago we don't have them, but in LA they're like super big. They're like sureños or something like that, like
oh, okay. Yeah.
13s or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever. He's like, you take care of this guy, you make sure that he listens to everything. Well, after everything that happened, he was just like, bro, you cool as hell. So he just taught me the ways on how everything was supposed to be. But as time went, like, uh it was just very tough because like that's my first day there. Everything is like upside down to my life. I'm completely lost in what's happening. I don't know absolutely nobody. So the next thing they do is you're supposed to memorize like 100 plus little verses and all the books in the Bible in order for you to get out of your orange shirt. So I'm just like, whatever. I guess I gotta do this to get back to school because once you finish school, you get the hell out of here. So my
Yeah.
buddies were like, listen, pretend they're gonna give you a test, they're gonna test you. So the best way and the fastest way that you're gonna get out of here is act dumb. So every answer you see right there, write as many wrong answers as you can because that's how you're gonna get the easiest paces and you're gonna get out of there because you're already turning 17. You only got 1 year left. They're gonna get you the easiest paces. Sure enough, that's exactly what I did. I acted super dumb. I didn't, you know.
Yeah.
So
The, o-
as
the,
time just
the only
what?
thing, one thing though, before you keep going, like you said, jail, prison, whatever.
Yeah,
Brian knows that one thing you don't call somebody is a punk. You know,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
one thing you don't call somebody. So he knows he's trying to get a rise out of you. He's trying to get you
oh yeah,
mad so he can beat you some more.
oh yeah. He's
He's a
abusive.
sadistic piece of shit, is what he is.
Oh yeah, he's abusive. The worst thing that I think, like I wasn't scared of him. I just knew that he loved to play mind games.
Oh yeah,
And because I was just cool with everybody, like the worst thing that he ever did to me that I'll never forget about him is the fact that like he knew my birthday was coming and my birthday's in November and like usually like everybody is like in the holiday spirit. So I was sitting on the table and I'm very cool with everybody. I'm laughing. Like, I'm just like, we couldn't talk, by the way. I don't know if you knew this or if you didn't know this. Like, we couldn't communicate with other students. So, like, if you had to communicate, you had to pretend like you had to keep your mouth at a certain level and just like talk really soft, like you had a puppet in your hand,
yeah,
like that. That's how you had to talk. And you had to be really low. Well, whatever. One time, like I was talking to somebody, I don't know what it was. I made somebody laugh or whatever. He's like, "Se-vee-ya, get over here." And I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Go to the wall." So he sends me to the wall. And I was in the wall from my birthday, well, literally a week before my birthday, all the way to like February. I was there like 4 or 5 months. I had to eat my breakfast, had to eat my lunch. as soon as you get out of bed, like the first thing you got to do as soon as we go into the hall, be on the wall. Like honestly, I was a wall kid for a long time, and mentally that drives you crazy
Oh yeah.
because like it's not like you can go down like to a different spot. Like they put you in a spot to the point where like you're looking at the wall and you already know what holes are in the wall. Like that's how crazy it is. You're just like this is mentally driving me crazy. Like, and I knew kids were going crazy. Like he would do crazy things. Like there was a vegetarian kid that came into the school. Like he never ate meat. He hated meat. And this guy Brian was like, he did something wrong, and he's like, "Nah, all you eating is meat today." Like that type of stuff. That's some sick stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I remember him eating and throwing up, and he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna eat your plate." What he used to do is they used to wrap your plate. Like let's say it was dinner. He used to wrap your plate, and he will give it to you in the morning cold. So you had to eat it in the morning before you get your breakfast. So that's some sick stuff. Like a lot of things like that. I would have gone mad, you know. Like I was just thankful that I played the system so good. Like there was a thing that it was called creeds. Like you know, it was like a super long, like 3 bar sentence that you had to write, and they will make you write that thing over like 1,000 times if you did something wrong. And that was like currency in Agape, you know, because sometimes we'll get those. So I used to in my free time just write them. You used to grab 3 pens and just write them, you know, just make sure I do them like that. And like kids would get in trouble. I'm like, look, bro, I'll tell you, I'll give you this creed. You give me like some food, some candy, whatever, because it was like gold, you know. We never got none of that stuff, you
Yeah.
know. And one of the craziest things that I remember, was it was the thing. Here it goes. I'll put it down here. His name was Aguilar. So I was there probably for like 3 months, and then this other kid comes up. His name was Aguilar, and like you could tell he was not like he was no tough guy or nothing, but he just wanted to like I don't know, mess around, fuck around, just be a joker, you know.
Yeah.
And like but he was one of those people that like would joke, and he was really bad at joking, like so like nobody will like his jokes. So like nobody liked him, and everybody treated him wrong, even the staff. So one morning I remember I just like I hear a like because there used to be bunks to sleep, like it's like a big gym, and it was just like bunks everywhere, you know, like in rows, you know. So you had a one down, one up. So I used to sleep on the top because they never trusted me enough to put me on the bottom. So one night I'm sleeping and I hear a boom, like a big stump on the floor, and I'm like, what? So I get up and I look around and I see him. He took the laces of his shoes and put them around his neck and try to hang himself from the second bunk down, because he was so bullied by everybody in the staff that he wanted to just take his life. It was just nuts to me. Watch that stuff. I'm just like, what is going on? I'm only here 3 4 months. What's gonna happen? I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So they put him into like this suicide watch, which I think is like the creepiest thing, because you got this old man, like fat old man, you know, they're like, nah, we're gonna watch you as you shower. They open the shower door, they're just standing there making sure you don't hurt yourself. Like, nah, that's a little too much, you know? Like, oh, you're gonna eat your food, you're gonna eat it with your fingers. Like, whoa, like you eat cereal with your fingers like that? Like they had to put their fingers in their cereal. Like that's a little too much, you know. Like I get
Yeah.
you gotta punish kids, but that's extreme, especially if you already try to suicide. That kind of treatment can get somebody even worse. Like I don't know how he's doing, because like we do have a group of kids, like, and like it's called the Agape homies that we keep
Yes.
in contact. And like some of those people, they're nowhere to find. Like you can't find them on the internet. It's crazy how they just they disappeared. Like
Disappeared.
you don't know if they're alive, they're dead. It's just sad. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
Um, there was the thing about the haircuts, which like I was telling you about the clippers, which it was pretty funny because like after I got their haircut and they just threw me out there, uh, I was telling them, you know, like, man, can you guys fix my hair? They're like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna give you a haircut, because and the only people that really allow people to get haircuts was like it was some Asian guys cutting hair. So like, but I'm from Chicago, and in Chicago, usually when you get a haircut, like especially a low fade,
Yeah.
because there was only like two types of haircut. You either have a fade, like they cut all your hair, or like they give you like the side haircut. So I already had short hair, like all cut it out. So I was like, can you guys line it up? Like at least make it nice. They're like, nah, only African American can do that. And that was man, which was the lady. I was like, what? I'm like, I never understood that. Like, I never understood that. They're crazy. Like, yeah, it's against like, it's something about religion. I don't know what it was.
And these and
Uh,
these these are so-called Christians. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
They
God.
swear they're like super Christians.
Yeah,
Um,
they're not.
makes it tough. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they really are because like if you aren't a Christian and you got to go through all these things like going to chapel almost every day, like it's super brainwashing. Like I don't know if the kids told you, but like so like the first day too, I'm going through the beat up, I'm going through all that, and then at night this one guy comes, he's like, yeah, you got to get saved, and I'm like, what is that? I've never grown into church. I don't know half the stuff you're talking about. He's like, yeah, you got to get saved right now. If you don't get saved, all the staff are going to know that you're not saved. So I want you to close your eyes and repeat this after me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And after I said, oh my God, praise the Lord, he's saved. It's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy. I
Anything,
mean,
anything to go smoothly into the program. You know what I mean? Whatever you got
yeah,
to do. Whatever you got
there
to
was a
do.
lot of us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of us just did what we had to do. Like, honestly, not really. A lot of us did. We didn't do what we had to do because if we did, we wouldn't be in a lot of the troubles we were. A lot of the thing, even on that group that I'm talking about, there was people like captains. They had red shirts, right?
Yeah.
Like those we used to call them. You kids in ass. Like in the group of us, even the red shirts, there's not many red shirts because they were all kiss ass. They were just fake people. And you're a snitch, period, just like that. Like so, like even to this day, we never keep in contact with those people. But one thing I wanted to tell you was like cruelty thing as far as like how they how bogus they were with some kids. So there was like a movie night, I remember, right? So like they will only play like PG movies, nothing like PG-13, only PG movies, and all of us are over PG-13. 13. We're old already.
Right.
Like only PG movies, and like every time like we watched TV, no commercials. We couldn't watch any commercials. Um, and I remember like there was the movie night, and I remember like there was kids there that got sent there for like 3-4 years, and like their parents didn't care
Oh.
about them. Like it was just really sad. You're looking at these kids, they don't care, they really don't care. And then on movie night, if your parents had money, well, it's kind of like commissary. If they put money in your account, you were able to get like a burger and like a shake from this one place. Lucky enough, my parents loved me and they did send me money for that stuff. But it was pretty bogus because on that day, it was like the most bogus dinner that they could get. Meanwhile, you're eating a burger, you enjoying yourself, and you're just watching your buddy just there looking at you, drooling, and you're just like, sorry, buddy, I'm not even gonna share this, bro. I only get this one time in the blue. I'm not giving you nothing. But it's psychological game
Yeah.
that
And
kill
they're
kids.
also trying to put student against student as well. You know what I mean?
I do think so. It
That
was it was just
I mean,
bad.
see you eating a hamburger, they're going to get upset. I'm not going to share any with you. Well, there, that person gets upset. Now they're going to look at you like, okay, that motherfucker. I'm going to
Oh,
do
and
it
you
too.
couldn't share either, even if you wanted to.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a no rule of you can't share anything because you couldn't even communicate. So if you share, you're not gonna get a burger next time, anyways. And talk about free time over there. There is no free time. The only free time you get is about like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, one maybe twice a week. And twice I'm talking because if these fucking fat guys are talking about trying to take you to play, they don't play with you or nothing. Obviously you want to play with the kids, but if they didn't feel like walking, like nah, you're staying inside. You play board games, you play this old sorry games. That it was just sad. Like I feel bad for the kids that are there right now, but like um the main reason why I want to like kind of like have this conversation and just speak out is because like I believe that the brainwash that they try to give the students there could be very misleading in some ways because like they told us that you ain't gonna be nothing. when you get out. You're gonna die. You're gonna kill yourself. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, you can go on
You're here,
drugs and all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, prison, all that.
Practically, yeah. Practically, they were just saying that you're a piece of shit and you're lucky to be in Agape. So,
Uh,
so and I'm not saying I'm living the best of the best, but I am living my best life. And the only thing that I thank Agape for, it's not my education, because when I went to transfer my credits to my college, the people at the college were like, "What the hell are these things? What the hell are these credits? What the hell is a PACE?" They wanted me to go back to the school and see if they could give me some real credits. So I called one of my buddies that got out of school too, and I was like, "Hey, bro, have you having problems too?" And he was like, "Yeah, they think these are fake." So some of the schools don't even take the credits from the schools, which I was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's unaccredited. Those when I went to school at the farm in Corpus, we used the ACE program as well, and that program is pure garbage. Pure garbage.
But the only thing I took from them, honestly, it was the relationship that I do have with God, and I think it's not because of them, but it because they put you in a mental place where like you can't talk to nobody else other than God. So you're just like, please God, like get me out of this program, like. So
Yeah.
like that was your biggest prayer, and the second biggest prayer was pretty much like, like make sure that none of our parents die while we're in this hellhole, because like there were parents that like, grandparents. I had no people that their grandparents died while they were in the school. People like get into accidents and they couldn't even go to them. So it was just like always like, please just take care of our families, because it's like you don't want to be like miles and miles away when this is happening. And and just the fact that like the psychological abuse that I got from them was just like, I feel like it didn't just affect me, but it affect our parents too, because like I talked to like our friends, and our parents don't know what it is. And like right now, the only reason why people are speaking is because we're finally coming as a family, we're speaking together. But like I remember talking to my dad still and my mom about it, and they always say, "No, you gotta thank Agape. You gotta thank Agape," and it always puts a fight between our parents. And it's not just me. I have friends from the group saying that our parents are thankful that we went to that place because it actually saved us. Like they really brainwash our parents thinking that that place saved us.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, no, no. Like, if anything, that place it made us worse, because I was not as crazy. When you get out of that place, like, honestly, like, a lot of us, before we get to the place, obviously we have girlfriends, right? Like, and obviously we're having sex with our girlfriends. So when you get to a place and you have nothing, like, you go insane.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's no privacy for yourself, not even to, what I'm saying, nothing. So like, what are you gonna do? A lot of those guys turn weird because of that. Like, I'm not gonna mention names, but it's happened. We've seen it with our own eyes. And
Yeah.
like, like it became to the point where I feel like that's why there was abuse between other students, like older students and younger students, because of things like that. Because
Sexual
like,
tension is what it was. Sexual tension.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you got the staff. Like, I remember, like, where we eat. Like, obviously, you have the staff, when it was time to eat, they will bring their families too. And I think like that program turned our heads into like some pervert minds, because you would look at their kids and their wives, and you're like, oh, I want to have sex with her wife. And we were talking to students like,
Yeah.
do you see her old ass? Damn, she's sexy today. But when you get out the program, you're like, what the hell was I looking at? Because
Yeah.
that was the only thing to look at,
I
you
heard
know?
I heard the staff wives were pretty big.
Oh no, hippopotamus,
Yeah.
huge.
Hey,
It
but you know
was,
what? You know what? If you're already having sex before Agape and then you're in there and there's no girls,
oh my
a
god, bro.
hippopotamus
Exactly.
starts to look pretty good. You know
Hey,
what I mean?
hey, that big Watusi booty looking good.
Give me a piece of that juicy booty. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. Like especially like I said, like especially like the guy you knew who like had things with girls before, like because like we were just talking like, bro, Like, you seriously? Like, and it was just not bad with the staff, because then it caused tension with the students, because then you have friends come in to visit, like their families will come and they'll have sisters, and then when the visit is
Uh,
over, we're like, bro, your sister fine and this and that. It's bad. I know it's a little funny, but it's
yeah,
bad because that's what the program does to you. So when people that never had that, or people that had that, and they'll go out in the world, you become this animal. Like, I remember getting out of the program, I became a savage. I was a freaking dog, because I didn't know what to do. It was so many years away from people that actually being outside the world, that you're just like, you don't know how to act. And
right.
it's because we don't have the proper training, we don't have the proper education. They don't talk about none of that stuff. They all keep it hiding, and they all talk it behind, like, oh, God is righteous and you'll find your wife when you go to Hiles Anderson. Like, they promote, yeah, they promote that college so much. I swear they're getting sponsored by the college, because like
Kickbacks, yeah, probably.
I'm sure they do, because they want you to go over there no matter what it is, But uh but the main thing why, like I said, I go back to the subject of why I feel like now everybody's speaking up, is because, like, when we were younger, like, if I would have speaked I'm 31 now, but when I would have spoke when I was like 19, 20 about the stuff that is happening, everybody would have just said, like, you ain't old enough, or, like, just wait, you'll grow out of it. But it's been a long time. And I feel like now, when I have my wife, when I have my home, and we're doing so much better than what they thought we would have done,
Yeah,
I think now our words, like, got more power, and that's why we're doing this, because now people can actually probably believe, and we can help kids from going to stuff like that. And one of the things that, like, hits my mind all the time is the fact that, like, a kid was molested by another student, and I remember that night, like, hearing the kid cry. It woke up everybody in the dorm. Everybody knew what happened. But imagine, what happened, and you can't even tell your parents on the phone, because when you're talking to your mom and your dad, you got a staff member looking at you telling you better watch out what you say. Because if you say something wrong, they're gonna hang up the phone. The guy, like, literally, he's on the phone like this, and you got your phone over here. He's ready to just go click, hang up
yeah,
the phone, take him to the padded room. So, like, you don't know what to do. And my mom, if I would have told her that, I don't even know why my parents would have done. Like, honestly, like, they wouldn't even believe me. So, because I saw that stuff happening, I told everybody, right? So the kid that molested, obviously nothing happened to him. He was, like, protected by the staff, which I thought it was the worst thing that probably could have happened. If anything, out of bullying, like, our normal kid, they should have bullied that guy, you know?
right.
But nothing happened to him. He got protected. And then one time things just started getting, like, weird. I guess, like, some students that left, like, a couple months before. So what happened to a couple students, and they made a police report or something happened, because I remember I was just in school, and they're like, Sevilla, you need to come up to the main office. So I was like, oh, what happened?
Oh boy. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, what happened now? So I go to the office, and there's an officer right there with a notepad, and right next to him is the owner, the old guy. I know he's Clemenson. I
yeah,
forgot his name.
Clemenson. Yeah,
Yeah, one of them, whatever. He's just sitting right there, like, just on the chair, lean back, just with the eye, like, looking at you, like. And the officer is like, I gotta ask you a couple of questions. We heard what happened to you on your first day here with your ear. I heard that you got beat up. I need you to tell me everything that happened. So Brian Clemenson is right there, and I'm like, yeah, this is what happened. This gentleman right here grabbed me. He punched me. He did this. He did that. The cop is just like, all right, cool. All right, you can go back to school. I go back to school thinking, like, yo, I'm about to get a call from my parents saying, yo, you coming back home. It's over. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I don't understand it. How much did that cost? How much they paid? I don't understand.
yeah.
Nothing.
I mean,
You,
right there, that's assault. I mean, what they did to you. You know what I mean?
it's
That's assault.
everybody knew what happened.
Yeah,
And that was just me. It was like six names, because it was really, like, I understand kids got assaulted, but the kids that, like, Brian had a thing for it. Like we got really beat up, and for a cop to come and still nothing, like it just makes you think like if I would have told my mom about the kid that got molested, nothing would have happened. And then to make it worse, this is so there was a thing called a football camp. So the football camp was somewhere in Indiana, like it was real close to where I'm from, Chicago. It wasn't too far. So they put us like this is how bogus they are. Okay, if you had money, if your parents had money, you were able to go to the football camp. If you didn't have money, you had to stay behind and you had to pick up rocks because they were building something new. Because everything in that property was built by kids. There's nothing that was built by them. Everything was halted by kids. Every drywall was pulled by us. Cement, we pulled the cement. We had to carry two buckets. If you were tall enough, they would give you two buckets, and you had to carry the two buckets. If you carry one bucket, you were considered lazy. That's how crazy they were. So if you had money, I went. Obviously, my parents like we want the best for you. We're gonna send you to football camp. I went. I ended up going to football camp. So we go to football camp, and one night, right before we go to back to Agape, Brian pulls up. I heard you trying to run away, which I didn't. I don't know where this came from, but rumors were just like
Yeah.
whatever. I never even talked about it. I don't know what happened. I heard you trying to run away. Come here. They pull me to the side, slam me against the wall. Who are you trying to run away with? I'm like, what are you talking about? I ain't trying to run away. I'm like, no, I know you're trying to run away. He took all my stuff, all my laces from my shoes. They gave me some pants that were so big that I had to actually carry them with my hands because like they were making sure I wasn't running away. They put me in the back of the bus with a staff member because they thought I was just because I was close to home that I was gonna run away. So on the way back to Agape, because the drive was like probably 7, 8 hours. So we're on the bus. The staff member, lazy as hell, knocked out in the back of the bus. And this is why I say that this place, like they don't care. They really don't care. And that's when I saw a lot of weird stuff because that was pretty much the only times that kids were really alone and you see weird
Yeah.
shit in the bus. Some kids was doing weird shit, kissing other kids, kissing other students. And you're like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I didn't think you were like that. Okay.
Right.
Now that you're alone in the dark and there's no staff, you're doing this weird shit. All right, I'm going back to the back of the bus. Fuck that. I'm not gonna be here. But anyways, I go back to the school and I had a visit from my family. So this is how fucking how much of an asshole he was. They always had me in a yellow shirt. They never let me by myself. My parents came all the way from Chicago to Missouri, and they told them like, sorry, he can't leave the campus. Like he was trying. You got two options. One is you take your kid and you take him home because he was trying to do something really bad, or number two, he loses all his oh yeah, he was gonna lose all his credits, and if you take him home, or number two, you stay in the campus but you don't go nowhere. Like it was just some weird shit. It was some weird like it's like, he just wanted me to be in the campus because he thought that I was gonna run away back in football camp. He ruined my whole visit with my family. My parents drove like 8, 9 hours just to visit me, just to hear this bullshit from him. And then they took my parents into the room and they were like, "Listen, I got a secret about your kid, and if I tell you this secret, you got two options. I tell you the secret and you go home with your kid, or I keep the secret and your kid can stay here." So my parents were like, "What the hell? Like, keep
Yeah.
my kid, let him finish school. What is the secret?" Years later, because I was real cool with one of the staff members, he called me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm going to Chicago to pick up a kid." He's like, you around?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, come around, bro. I wanna see you, man. I haven't seen you." He comes around. First thing I asked him, "Bro, did he ever tell you what the fucking secret was?" "No, he was just bullshitting, bro. He was just fucking with your parents." I'm like, "You see, I fucking knew it."
Oh man.
It caused so much trouble with my parents. My parents were thinking I was a fucking queer. My parents thought I was fucking weird shit. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh.
You know, shit
Yeah.
like that. That's how the games that guy played. Just because like
Yeah.
I
They
would never
they they
follow him.
they they mess with their minds.
Yeah, bro. Like real talk. When I was
Oh,
in the program, my dad pulled me to the side. He's like, "Bro, tell me the truth, bro. Did you do some weird shit with a kid?" I'm like, "Bro, get the fuck out of here, dad." I'm like, "You fucking dumb. Don't ever ask me that shit again, bro."
yeah.
I'm like, "No." I'm like, because I remember there was a guy that was he was weird, and that weird kid got sent home because they didn't like that shit. So like, bro, dad, I'm like, don't ever believe anything this fucking psycho man says.
It's what it was, man. It's what it was.
And that's just like I said, the psychological game of fearing going home when I was almost done, like uh, eh, being in a place where like you fear to go home too, because like there's that period of time where you finally accept the reality and you're just in that place and you're just like, all right, I guess I'm here. I guess I gotta do what I gotta do. And then you start believing all their shit, and then you start wondering, like, damn, am I gonna leave? Am I really gonna be a piece of shit? Like, so you start fearing going home, like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be all right. Then you hear from people that already left, oh, he passed away, oh, he died. Because after I left, one of our friends got shot. Some of them died on accidents, OD. Like you just start thinking, like, crap, am I next? Am I next? Are these guys really telling the truth? And stuff like that. You just like you never know, like I just and then now that I'm hearing the movement that is happening, I'm like, bro, it's time for all of us to speak. Just tell your little quick story, talk to somebody. We gotta get something. I think like if anything, like because those credits didn't work, at least give our parents our money back. Give them the money back because shit, that was 18 months and those credits didn't work.
Yeah. Did they tell your parents that the program was accredited?
Yeah, they told my parents, oh, he's gonna get a diploma. And then when I graduated, they gave me a honor B student diploma, and I was like, "All right, cool. I'm honored." My parents are like, "My son, you're so smart." Whoa, 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 whoa. But when I got to college, they're like, "Bro, these credits they're worth
Yeah,
nothing."
they're shit. Yeah.
So I was like, "Shit,"
Wow.
like
Lies and deception. Wow.
lies and
Never.
deception,
Yeah.
a lot of abuse, a lot of kids getting treated the wrong way. Food. The only thing that was good there was the food. If you act this well now not really because actually I'm lying because on my time food was amazing, but lately there's been surfacing online some of the traits that they got, and bro, it looks terrible. It
I
looks
said
like jail food. It looks bad.
now
It looks.
this whole thing with you second guessing yourself, saying could I end up like some of these kids that left and like you said OD'd and got shot and all that stuff. The thing is, if they did get shot or they did OD,
Mhm,
maybe it wasn't because they went back to their old life. Maybe it was because of agape with the stress and the abuse and everything else
mhm.
fucked up their heads.
I think so.
You know what I
I
mean?
think so. It could be.
Yeah.
It,
And of
it
course,
definitely could be.
Clemenson Brian is telling you, see, this is what happens if you don't, accept Jesus or stay with the program or something like. It's just scare tactics. Is all it is. Scare and being that your kids, your teenage kids, that's what they like. They like teens. They like kids because kids are a little bit more moldable. You know what I mean? They scare easily. Not like an adult. I mean, let's say were you 31? You said,
I'm 31.
and you
Yeah.
went to Agape now. Would it be the same?
Oh
No,
no,
I said, don't hand me
absolutely
that
not.
bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what happened. No,
Yeah.
just shut up. You don't know what you're talking. You know what I mean? They like it. That's why a lot of these homes take in kids because they know that they can easily be manipulated mentally. So
Yeah, I think that I think that the abuse that we receive, like especially the kids on my time, because like every kid that comes into your podcast from like a different time in my time, they're all gonna tell you, listen, my time was worse than their time and than what it is now. But at the same time, it's agape. It's agape. It's a cult. No matter who's there, is run by the same head. And when we were there, After the police left a couple months later, like I guess the heat was really high because all of a sudden one day we woke up and Brother Brian disappeared, and we're like, "What happened?" Oh, we got a new dean of students now, or whatever. I don't know if he was a dean or whatever, but he was the director or whatever. He's like, we got a new person that is running this place, and his name was Kasak, and he was dating, I guess, his sister or something like that. But he was in the family, and he came in with a new idea of like, you know what? We're gonna stop everything that Brother Brian did, and we're gonna start fresh. So from now on, the kids that are over 18 can talk, and the kids are a certain age, or if you have a language with a color, now you can talk. Because they had a stupid way of intervention. It was called intervention. I don't know if you heard about it, but
Yeah, I
like
heard
if
about it.
there's something wrong, they're like, "Excuse me," and you had to shake your head, and you had to do it 2 times. And like if you did something wrong again, you're like, "Excuse me," but you had to do a stupider face until you get the point. And then
Right.
if you didn't listen, you're like, "All right, let's go to staff." But we used to use that against the system because we like, "Excuse me, bro, somebody's watching you. Excuse me, bro, he keeps looking at you."
Yeah.
Like that's what we did to communicate. That's how we played the game. But after he left, like I knew it had to do something with me and with whoever was in that situation with the cops because uh, he left, and right after that, they took me down to the a school, and I talked to the principal. I forgot his name, and he's like, "Listen, we're gonna cut down these paces." They chopped down all these paces that I had to do, and they cut them almost in half. And like, "Listen, you got to do these paces, and you're out of here." I was like, "Cool, no problem. Better for me. Better
Yeah.
for me." They're like, "You're not graduating next year. You're graduating '08." I'm like, "Good for me. I'm good for that. Let's go."
Little did you know how it was going to affect you, trying to get into the college. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was
But they
just
didn't
it's just
care. They didn't care, you know?
they don't care. And honestly, I have even taken like therapy. Not after I got a Agape, but like years. I'm talking about probably 3 years ago. Like we took some therapy. It was just me and my wife. We wanted to see more about us and see what is the best communication because she always felt like when she yelled at me, I will act it in a certain way.
Right.
And after talking to the therapist by myself, I started explaining to him a little the things about Agape and how they used to run things and what they did. And he was like, "This is because of Agape." Like the way that you're acting is all uh, a traumatic disorder that they left you behind. That's why when like somebody screams at you in a certain way, you have that reaction. You have that fear of like you're about to get in a certain problem and a trouble.
Right.
Because I already knew once I heard that word in Agape, Sevilla, I already knew like, oh man, how long am I gonna be on the wall? How many push-ups am I gonna do? How long am I gonna be on this table? It was called a no talk table. I already knew. I was just trouble after trouble. I don't think there was a time I ever went up in the ranks over there.
Yeah.
The only time that I had a good time is when I played the system and I decided to join it was called Kitchen Help. And you gotta understand, all right, kitchen help, like I don't know if they told you or not, but in kitchen help you had to like either clean the kitchen, wash the dishes, or like do be on the chemicals, all right. And you went up as you worked in kitchen help. So like I started like washing dishes, but like I feel bad because they would cook spaghetti and you had your suit for church and you had to scrub this big pots, spaghetti flying everywhere. You over there smelling real bad. Then you had to dip it in hot water, then this other chemical. By the time you went to church, you were dripping in sweat. And then you had to sit down singing, it was just
Right.
bad. Like, but then the only good thing that was about it was that you could eat first. So like there was the first people that would be like kitchen help. So people would just go there and eat first. So I was like, yo, I'm doing everything to eat first. And just like that, brother Brian, kitchen help. He saw me. He's like, no, 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 Se-vee-ya. You go back to UT. You wait until your table gets called. I was hated. They hated me. They hated me. I know till this day, like if he sees me, he knows exactly what it is with me. I never follow him. I never liked him. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, uh, tell me about the incident that happened.
With Zacharias.
Yes.
So it was like I said, I was there for a while, and pretty much one night, uh, they had that buddy system, which somebody had to watch you because they trusted that person. They had to walk with you everywhere you go to make sure that you follow the rules. Well, they put Zacharias. He was a 12-year-old kid, and at that time, maybe he was younger, but I'm sure he was 12. They put him with this kid. His last name or first name I forgot is Doherty. Okay, um, and that kid was just weird from the beginning. He had a if you look at his face, like it was weirdly shaped. Like he had an alien shaped head, and everybody made fun of him because he was just weird. He had glasses. His head was weird. He looked like a creep. Like if you see him now, you can see a creep from a mile away. That's how he looked, a creep. And they put this little kid with him, and it was just a matter of time. We knew like, nah, this is gonna be something wrong. This kid is super weird. Something is gonna go down. So staff members, they turn off the lights one night, and then I hear this little kid crying. I look to the side and I see Zacharias, this 12-year-old kid, in the same bunk bed as Doherty. He's holding him, touching him, like, he's hugging him all over him. Obviously he was probably like, because he had the blankets on top of him, and I want to say allegedly probably doing other things, but you could tell he was doing something to the kid.
Sexually assaulted him.
Absolutely, he was sexually assaulting the kid. Um, he was crying. He got up. Once we realized what was happening, Zacharias got up. He started shaking like this. We're like, Zacharias, what happened? Dirty, dirty, like that. And we're like, what did he do? He was just he couldn't even speak. We already knew what happened. I went to the staff members. This is what happened. This guy did this. This guy did that. Okay, we'll handle it in the morning. Zacharias, you go over there and you go to sleep. Next morning, we deal with it, and there was a guy named Brother Frank. Brother Frank, he supposedly was the biggest against homosexuality in the school. He was like the toughest one on it. And we went directly to him because we thought, oh, this guy is gonna help us out. He's gonna handle the business, he's gonna
Right.
take care of nothing. He was like, don't worry about it, let me handle it. They all put us on the tables. All the staff members went to their little office. They probably chatted out, probably, oh, what we gotta do to hide this? What are we gonna do to hide this? What are we gonna do to hide this? For sure, they did that because by the time they got out, nobody talked about it. Nothing happened. Zacharias, you're gonna be next to a staff member. That's it. That's the last thing that they did about it. And I messaged Zacharias probably because obviously he's not in the Agape groups, but I found him. I found out that he actually lives in Chicago now. So I was like, whoa, let me message him, like, yo, Zacharias, bro, I know you probably don't want to hear this, bro, but like, I'm really sorry that that happened to you, and I would really appreciate if you come forward because it will help us because uh not only Doherty is guilty, but like brother Frank, brother Brian, all those people are guilty and part of that.
Sure.
They need to pay for that. There's not a single thing that they shouldn't pay. They hit a crime. That's a crime. And nowadays, if you look at it with this Me Too movement, they're talking about Bill Cosby put a pill like 30 years ago and he's in jail.
Yeah.
This is real. Like this is no maybe so he say she say. We saw it. And nobody's in jail. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I told the kid, I'm sure like he probably does it, like obviously I don't know people that like that that's been sexually assaulted, but like I know they probably don't want to talk about it or like they run away from it, but he never responded. He
Never
saw my
responded.
message, but he never responded, and it sucks because that's I know there's another friend you spoke to him, his name is Fraser.
Yep.
You know, it kind of waits on us
Yeah.
because like we wish we could do something. We really wish it could like. they could pay for this, but there's no help. There's nothing we could do. As I told you, when the police was there and they left and they did nothing, they just wrote a bunch of words and they left. They're gonna do the same thing with this. I'm pretty sure they got police on their thing, not on
Oh yeah,
pay,
sheriff.
but
I think his.
but I'm sure the sheriff loves them.
I'm sure his. I think his name is Graves. I think.
Oh no, yeah, Graves was Graves was one of the guys that actually worked in Agape when I was there. That's the guy that I told you that he thought he was a medical assistant
Oh
because
yeah.
he wore an EMT shirt. Like he would wear his EMT shirt, but he didn't know nothing about nothing. He would just sit there with his stupid Rubik cubes, and every week he would come with a different one, thinking he's super smart, trying to figure out these Rubik's cubes,
Yeah.
and just do nothing. He would just do nothing but work you out. Which I like working out, and when you get restrained and your muscles get ripped like that, and then you get sent out to work out like that, that's terrible for your muscles.
Oh yeah.
That's probably one of the reasons why some of my fingers are crooked, because of stuff like that. Like they put you out in the cold with no gloves. They make you pick up all this snow. It's just bad. It's just bad. But there's absolutely nothing. And the only thing we're doing now is just standing up. And I'm sure they're watching. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
they're listening.
Oh yeah.
They're definitely listening to you, to your channel, because I seen the views and you're getting some views. So I'm sure some of the staff members are watching, like, what are we gonna do? The other day, one of our friends messaged one of the staff members from them. He was actually, I'm not gonna say names, but he was uh, uh that guy was actually dating one of brother Brian's daughters. He actually has a couple kids with her. I'm gonna leave it like that. I don't even have to say your name. And I saw the messages between you and the student message you saying, "Hey, how you feel about all the stuff you did to the students by making them run, uh, um, treating them, restraining them, touching little kids like that? How do you feel?" His response was, "I don't remember doing that. I've never even done that." We replied saying, "So you're just gonna lie? You're gonna act like nothing happened when you were there and we saw you?" Yeah, man. If I would have seen that, I would have stopped it.
Oh, he's full of shit.
Oh yeah, full of
Full of
shit,
shit.
full of shit. And that's why his wife, I know he got like two, three kids with him. She's getting donkey fucked by another guy. That's why, because he's a lame. He's a
Yeah.
lame. He
He's like,
walk with the school
is he a?
with his Jewish nose and that stupid guitar everywhere he go, playing those same three notes over and over and
Uh,
over. And I don't even gotta say his name, but if you see it, but if I do this, you know what I'm talking about.
he's a. Is he a cuck?
Oh, he's a clown. And just things like that. And then now there were I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that all of them, because there will be a point where I feel like something is gonna happen, because with technology and everybody speaking, I do feel like something is gonna happen. But not everybody should go down, because there were a cool staff in there.
Oh sure.
Like there was a staff member that low key, my dad, he was tipping him an extra $50 just to give me the answers to all the paces. He would take me at night. He would give me the score keys, and I used to put all the answers just to get me out of there fast. I'm like, Dad, thank you, because I know
Yeah.
my mom wants me here, but thank you, Dad. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here. Let me just write all the answers and all the tests. I used to take the tests with the ski cord next to it, and I'll just write down, and he used to sign them off. And then they kicked him out of the program. But he was a real one. I'm not even gonna say his name, but he's the real one. If he sees this, he knows who he is, because he helped me and probably another 30 students.
Yeah. There are. I like I've told a lot of guys that I've had the podcast with. There were some good guys there. People who actually were trying to help. You know what I mean? Actually trying to
Yeah.
make a difference. But from what I've heard, most of them were either kicked out, fired, that kind of stuff, because they weren't abusive enough. They weren't rough. They weren't hard on the kids. We can't have
Oh,
that. Get them out of here. You know, that's how it is.
it was just and it's funny because it's like, yes, I could tell you a million stories on like different things that happen, but like, the main thing was about, like, the I feel like it should be in a headline, the thing about Zacharias, because maybe it'll help him speak up. And I seen kids that are like gay on the podcast, because I do hear your podcast, that speak up and they talk about their treatment. And he needs to hear this. Like, I want to share, and I'm like, bro, you need to speak up, because I feel like he's the key to open the door of police saying, like, what is happening? Let's go. Like, you need to be in jail because you were there when this happened and you avoided it. Because there was no reports, there was nothing. Everything was and
Covered
that's a
up.
crime. That's a
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
That's a crime, because we spoke about it. We're like, no, this is what's happening. The kid that did it got beat up, but that's not enough. Where is he now? He probably is living his best life somewhere else, or who knows? He maybe touched other kids,
Yeah.
and it was because of them, because they let it happen. They let it say it was okay. Don't worry about it. You'll get away with it.
He got away
He
with it
knew.
once, you get away with it again. It's probably what he was thinking.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
telling you, that guy is the key. I've looked in different ways. Like, yeah, there's class, sues that you could do. You can bring lawyers in here and that, but that don't bring headlines. But if you put a 12-year-old got touched in Agape and the stat went, shh, that's the key.
Yeah.
And that's pretty
Definitely.
much all I wanted to, bring to the point, to you, so you can actually, I don't know, if you have other people that you talk to, maybe somebody can hear this and be like, oh, you guys should do this, or you guys should do that, or
Right.
maybe you guys can message him this, or maybe, because he's working in a 7-Eleven right now. The little kid that got molested, he could have had a better job. He could have been doing this. Now he's probably thinking he's only good for 7-Eleven.
It probably ruined him. You know,
Exactly. So I'm thinking, like, damn, like I thought I was gonna do terrible. Like, but I'm looking at him, I feel bad. Every single time that I think of Agape, the first person that comes into my head is him.
yeah.
Because Brother Brian had a thing for him, against him, and it ruined his life. Meanwhile, he's back over there being the director of the program again. How's that even possible? It makes no sense to me how somebody so cruel can go back after doing that, and now you trust him with your kid. How can you trust somebody like that with your kid?
Right. Yeah. It's almost like Agape thinks they're untouchable. You know, we got
Yeah,
deputy sheriffs working there now. You know,
they got that. Not only, I'm pretty sure, like, they're pretty cool with the army people around there too. Not saying they're connected with the government, but like, uh they're so plucked with, like, putting these kids, like, they damage the kids' lives. They're like, hey, don't worry about it, we'll get you guys these kids to go to the army. They'll sign up for you, don't worry about it. They don't got a family, they're throwaway kids. Like,
right.
we're really throwaway kids for them. And a lot of the friends that we have joined the army because they thought, hey, you know what, this is the only thing I can do, is just give my life for America. I got nothing else to do.
And the one thing, like I said, they really enjoy. Like I said, they're sadists. They take pleasure out of hurting kids, beating them, abusing them. But what they really take pleasure in is your parents' hard-earned money.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they enjoy the most, and that's the reason why they have them. Most of the, these, like I said, these PACE programs, they're garbage. They're unaccredited. So, we're going to keep you here till you graduate, but they don't know that it's unaccredited. So you have to stay there. Your parents pay more money, and then before you know it, you get out. They got their money, so they're not worried. You go out in the world with what? Nothing. No education, no accredited schooling, nothing. So now basically you start back from square one. But they don't give a shit because they got their money. And I've always said it's all about the money.
yeah. When I was there were like, at least 120 kids,
Yeah.
probably. I think that was like the highest. And I remember my dad and my mom were paying close at that time in '06. It was probably about 1,500, almost 2,000 per me. Because they didn't want to really give him a discount. But I know my dad at one point told me, I think it was like 15 to $2,000. And that's just one kid. So imagine that. Just
Yeah.
that 1,000 times 100.
And it's
I
more
said,
now. It's like
oh,
$3,500 now.
oh, that they, yeah, that's why when we used to pick up the rocks and we used to open their garages, this guy had the new Diablo car, the other one had the Tiburon, the other one had the they had the mobile homes. they had the boats, they have the horses, they have the donkeys, all these weird looking animals that shouldn't even be in Missouri. They
Yeah.
have them right there. Like, what the hell? How can you afford that stuff? I don't know.
Off the backs of everybody's parents is what they're doing.
Absolutely. And I just hope that, and I just want to thank you, man, because you actually take time to listen to these stories. And I think that you and I know there's another podcast. I don't know the name really, but I think
Oh,
you guys are helping us express ourselves, and it's making other students come out, because I wasn't gonna do it, but once I heard my friend Fraser come through, and he was like, "Bro, I think it's the time." I came out, I came through, and I was like, man, you know what? My story don't cost nothing, but it might helps another student come out too, and they probably have something or seen something worse than I did.
right. We've had one kid who was going to be sent to Agape, but he wasn't because of these podcasts. So,
Amazing.
it's doing some good. It's people will say, "Oh, it's just one kid." Yeah, but one kid. If you could just save one, you know what I mean? It's worth it. It's
It
worth
is
it.
worth it, man.
So, but yes, Se-vee-ya, thank you for being on. I appreciate it, man. It was
No, thank you, man.
it was great. Maybe if you think of anything else, maybe we can get Frazier on with you. You guys can
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
man.
old
I mean, if you
times.
guys want to hear some of the inside crazy stories and how we used to sneak around when the staff was sleeping
Oh
and they were
yeah.
supposed to watch us, of course, man. We'll set it up with Fraser, man. We have plenty
Oh
of
yeah.
stories, man.
Frazier's always
I got
down. Frazier's always down for a podcast, man. He's like, yeah. You just tell me. You give me the date. You give me the time, man. I'll be there.
Yeah, but yeah, I love Fraser, man. That's one of my guys. He was one of the realest ones, man. And I want to thank him, and I want to thank you and everybody from our group and Agape that's speaking out and helping us. And let's keep moving forward. It's time to
Yes.
close them.
All right, man. You stay on the line for a second. I'm gonna end your podcast here. All
Sure.
right. So everybody, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because the more people subscribe, the more you get notified, you get views, everything people get to see. More people get to see this. So for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. Take care of each other.